Certainly unusual for any government anywhere to take back a tax once it's imposed. Why did you feel so strongly about that?
Well, in the first place, it was a campaign pledge. What I said on the campaign trail was that
but politicians say lots of things on the campaign trail.
What I said on the campaign trail was that we were going to roll back the sales tax increase because it gave us the highest sales tax in the country, and that was bad for business and bad for our working families. And credit where credit is due, Commissioner Suffredin suggested that we do that in increments in the first 2 years, and that seemed reasonable to me. My initial pledge was to do it in my first term, and we did it in the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. So, in addition to closing those two budget gaps that amounted to $800 million, it was clear after the first round that we needed to do things differently. And so, and frankly, it's, you know, Kurt's initiative to focus on...
Kurt, your chief of staff.
Yeah, Kurt, my chief of staff. Kurt Summers, my chief of staff. The focus on performance management and you know, get people together in substantive areas, which hadn't happened before. Everybody was kind of operating in their own little isolated silo, I think is the business term for this. Anyway, and to get people together who are working in the same area and say, okay, so what are you really doing? What are your goals? How are you going to measure your progress? And so we have property and taxation, finance and administration. We have a Bureau of Economic Development. We have health, and we have public safety. So those are the 5 arenas in which the county has always kind of done business. Mm-hmm. And clearly, our priorities are in the healthcare and criminal justice field because that's where 3/4 of our money is. But let me just give an example. So property and taxation. For 34 years, we have not gotten our property tax bills out on time, the second property tax bill. But because of the good work of the assessor, the Board of Review, the treasurer, and the clerk, I don't think I missed anybody. For the first time in 34 years, we're getting out the second bills out on time, and that's a big deal for all of the bodies for whom we collect taxes, because if you don't get your property tax allotment on time, if you're at the edge, you borrow money to be sure that you meet your payroll and go forward. If you have reserves, you've lost the interest that you might gain on the money that's coming to you. So all of the taxing bodies that depend on property tax revenues are in better shape because we're getting our property tax.
Why did that get done? Most of those people were around, most of those officials you named have been around for a while, and you know, presumably they and their successors were trying before, so what changed?
Well, through performance management, we got everybody to work together. We said, you know, there's going to be collaboration, cooperation. We're all going to work together to try to achieve the goals we set for ourselves. And all those actors, when they got together, said, this is what we ought to do. We ought to make it a priority to get the second bill out on time, so we're not being fiscally irresponsible, basically, and putting this burden on all the taxing bodies that we collect for. So, and frankly, it was very much helped by the fact that Joe Barrios, who's now the assessor, had been at the Board of Review, knew the work that had to be done there. When he got to the assessor's office, and the assessor's where it all starts. If the assessor doesn't do the work timely, then the Board of Review can't do their process timely, and so on. It's a domino effect. So he got the work done timely, and then everybody else kind of fell into line, and we're going to get the bills out on time.